One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. All right, John, so when we scheduled this call, I wanted to primarily talk about some kind of shifts in the media marketplace, and you certainly apply to this, going from the college hotline to the Pac-12 hotline, which we are still going to discuss. But then a little thing happened last night. We learned Michael Williams, probably not too big of a surprise to some people. He is not going to seek a contract renewal at Cal beyond next spring. Will help to lead the Golden Bears until May of next year and or when a new leader is hired. So let's start there, of course. And now we're the morning after, the day after, if you will. Give me some feedback on the vibe that you hear around Cal. You and I've talked about Cal a lot, but now there's a major leadership open. There's really two key leadership spots open within the department, but now the top spot is effectively open. Where might they go? How quickly might they go? Give me your review.
Well, I would, given Cal's history, I would think that they'll have a successor in place by 2022. They do not move all that quickly.
Right.
They do not move all that quickly. In fact, Mike Williams, he was Sandy Barber left. Mike was named interim, and it took 10 months, and then they promoted Mike. They've got a new chancellor. I mean, everybody's new head basketball coach, new football coach, new chancellor. It's a revolving door there. A very difficult environment to educate or administrate in right now, just with the financial situation.
Right. So you're telling me it's basically this open-ended, we'll see what happens type situation, but we would expect maybe Michael Williams to be there through his contract in May.
I would not be surprised at all if it takes them till the spring to find a successor. Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. The job, there's a lot of benefits to that job in many regards. It's really a great spot, but there's the financial hurdle is gigantic, and I think that their pool of candidates will depend to a certain extent on what happens in the next couple months with the budget situation and athletics. The new chancellor has indicated that maybe they won't cut sports. Maybe they'll be able to figure out other ways to manage down the deficit. That could bring in, if they get that resolved and then they start their search, they could have a lot better candidate pool. If they want to bring somebody in to bring the hammer, then it's going to be a lot tougher. I would think they'll want to get some of that stuff ironed out before they bring in a new AD.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard some comments of some people saying, "Oh, it's the worst job in the Pac-12 right now." And financially, we know there's major hurdles, but I do keep coming back in my own mind that it is the Cal brand, which is really strong, right? And if there's someone out there who has a revenue generation, fundraising, really strong chops in those areas, and we should mention here, Ashwin Puri just left to be the senior vice president of the A's, so there's a really key revenue spot also open in the department. To me, the Cal brand over-indexes compared to simply what the financial trouble is here, but you're knee-deep in it, and it seems like quite a challenge.
Well, no, I think that there's a lot of truth in that, and it also depends on just a personal preference. There's a lot of terrific ADs, terrific candidates out there that just don't want to live in California for various reasons, which is understandable. But then there's also some that would love to live here, whether
Sure.
they're from the Bay Area or they went to Cal or they're from Southern California. There's a lot of appeal for some, and there's very little appeal for some. So it will kind of depend on that aspect of it in terms of what their candidate pool looks like, for sure.
And there are certainly some sitting ADs that we won't name, but we can certainly think about that have connections to the Bay Area, who in most cases I think would be ripe and ready to return to the area, especially for a Power 5 job. But do you have any sense so far of those who have inquired or will be barking up the tree?
No, not yet. I mean, there's certainly a few that come to mind, but I've not talked to anybody. I've not heard anybody specifically tell me I'm interested, nor have I heard anything out of Cal saying, "Here's who we want to hire, or who we'd like to interview." But yeah, there's certainly some out there that would be very interested. And even if you are a former senior level, associate AD or senior associate AD, something, that kind of position at another Pac-12 school, and you want to get back out here too. It's not just, I think, something that's particular to the Bay Area or California. There's plenty of folks just from the western third of the country that would probably have some interest in it. But it's a tough job. They got to get that financial thing straightened out. If they want to have a good candidate pool, they got to get it straightened out soon. And I think the new chancellor has got what I think is a remarkably sensible and logical idea. And whether it gets implemented or not, we'll see.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.